to the mineral, of course, becomes a critical element, so we give them that as well. But you can, this is all, different places. We lease 5 farms right now, too. And here's a new one, the first season. See how weedy it is, kind of thin. But you can see where the cows just graze. It just moved on to the right. You don't have to mow that or bush hog it or shred it or do anything special. You just let the cows do all that work. The weak link is always the management. One of the most exciting things we're doing now is planting new young farmers on these leased farms. So this is one of our fellows who was with us for 2 years, and then he went and did artisanal goat cheese apprenticeship at another place, and then he came back and said, could I build a little raw milk, seasonal grass-based herd share dairy program on one of the leased farms? He said, sure, in exchange, we'll give you the 20 acres for running your dairy and starting, and in exchange, you move our cow herd every day. Sounds great, all right? So there he is with his Jersey cow. This is his little homemade milk parlor he made. 5 stanchions on the side with a generator and a compressor on the other end. This is a bucket milker. I mean, this is in the milk business. I mean, he's generating a full-time, he's 21 years old, full-time farmer, generating his income. And you know what, to me, that's the way to populate the countryside. Don't you think so? Yeah. So this is one of our most exciting creative work now, is creating business plans, synergistic leverage, collaborative models that allow us to get these young farmers into business. Now, those cows like shade, so we have a portable shade mobile. This is one of Dad's innovations. The tricycle, like a portable shade tree, using nursery tape while we move it around to get the manure moved around the field. Water becomes an issue. What are you going to do about water? We put a lot of ponds. I love ponds. I love to walk out and see the water. And so one of the advantages of having some elevation on our farm is that we don't have any pumps or electricity. This is all gravity fed, 80 psi water, 5 miles of it, so we have pressurized water with gravity. Again, it's not that we don't spend any money. We just like to spend money on once a 500-year infrastructure development. That's the way I like to spend money. Okay? And then you can use that water for irrigation when the drought comes and the sun is beating down to keep the biomass regeneration cycle going, so you're making more decomposable biomass to put more carbon in the soil. Now, those cows drop the calling card, which, if you think about it, it's amazing that the cows even existed since, Merck Pharmaceuticals and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. How did they exist? How did they sanitize themselves? Well, birds follow herbivores in nature. The egret on the rhinos does. And so we follow the cows with the egg-mobiles. And the chickens free range out from the egg-mobiles, about 100 chickens. And these are portable hen houses that are just moved along. They got a slatted floor. They lay their eggs in there. And they just move behind the cows from paddock to paddock, scratch through the cow paddies, and lay $50,000 worth of eggs as a byproduct of the pasture sanitation program. See, this notion that in order to be ecological, we have to destroy the economy, or if we're going to be economical, we have to destroy the ecology, couldn't be further from the truth. We can have both. We can have our economy and our ecology at the same time, but it's going to take a tremendous amount of innovation and cleverness. We can't just make little 10% deviations from norm. We've got to make 180-degree turns. Instead of the organic community, wrestling with how do we compost all this Pilgrim's Pride chicken house manure, why don't we ask the question, why have a Pilgrim's Pride chicken house? So we've got to make abundant changes. So the chicken bitch next to the fly larva spread out the cow patty and do all this wonderful work. And again, this is so wonderful because now the chickens, they're not just egg layers, they're co-laborers. No, they're team players in a land healing ministry. It really changes the emotional aspect of what we're doing. We're not just raising stuff. We're not just trying to grow more stuff. We're actually, working with team players that have this relationship with us, massaging relationship. These are our dance partners. This is ballet in the pasture, dancing with all these wonderful dance partners. All right, this is our niece high again, the eggs are a byproduct. It's one of our lease farms. These are smaller egg mobiles, only 500 birds. Because this farm has a lot of water, we've got to go over some bridges and things. But the application is still the same. The question is, which would you rather live next to? And if we're going to have a localized, transparent, open source, embedded food system in our communities, they've got to be aesthetically and aromatically, sensually romantic. So people will want to be involved with them. So this is now, what you saw were egg mobiles, that's pasture sanitation with eggs as a byproduct. This is pasture egg production using high-tech poultry net from Premier Electric Fencing. This is brand new material. It's only been around for about 20 years, space-age stuff, using a stainless steel metal filament running through polyethylene to have a fence that will keep chickens in and coyotes and dogs and foxes out. And who would have thought 8 years ago that you could have a fence that impregnable that 150 feet of it would only weigh 12 pounds and one person would take it up and put it down in 10 minutes? Is that cool or what? All right? This is some more of that information-dense technology that we use to allow us to run birds in 1,000-bird batches, move them every 3 days to a fresh spot. And there's the infrastructure. Now, this is the new model. Somebody in the previous session was asking about this is the model. Those are the hoop houses. This is the new model. This is the Millennium Feather House. Ready for the Millennium, okay? And this is a scissor truss. It's the same idea, a different design of structure that we think has now made the pasture hoop houses obsolete. Using a scissor truss with 3-inch pipe sleeves on the bottom, and it gives us a structure in which we can use the vertical space so we can have 1,000 birds on a third less of a footprint than they were with the hoop houses, where you don't have enough structural integrity to use all the vertical space in the structure itself. It's a beautiful, it's a wonderful place to take people who want to come and see the farm. They walk up this catwalk, get in there, talk about surround wire. I mean, that's surround wire. And the eggs are actually thicker because they're farther up off the pasture, so the chickens get to wipe their feet and have a little time getting up to the nest box before they get there. So this is the idea. And then redundancy. We've got a guard dog, and guard dogs are good. So that makes this beautiful landscape. It's good for people, neighbors, and family. Then in the wintertime, the chickens come into hoop houses that are deep-bedded hoop houses, rabbits up above, pigs in there, chickens. I mean, look at the pathogen confusion. I mean, if you're a pig pathogen and you come out and you're surrounded by hostile country, chicken and rabbit dung, it's not a very good life, And so this again actually grows more stuff per square yard than a single species house, but without any of the negatives of the problems that a regular fecal factory farm creates. And then once that comes out, right into that compost bedding, it's debugged and all fluffed up, then we can plant vegetables and make thousands of more dollars as a byproduct of the winter housing situation. Turkeys in a vineyard. Turkeys in a pasture under a hay wagon. Lots of applications for these stackable, symbiotic, lots of dances out here, folks. Lots of different kind of ballets across the pasture. This is the rabbit house. Pigs in the winter, chickens and rabbits in the summer, deep bedded. The chickens stretch through what the rabbits drop, keep the air nice and clean for the rabbits. The rabbits drop urine and make enough moisture to grow bugs slowly in the bedding to keep the chickens happy. So you've got the symbiosis and stackable. You can have pigs as well. Then the rabbits come out into little portable field shelters for rabbits, where the rabbits pick up 75% of their diet off of the pasture, and then when they're done, we process them right there. I know this is our son Daniel dressing rabbits. He's had these since he was 8 as a 4-H project. 20 years of line breeding, no outside genetics for 20 years. This is line breeding. We created basically, an Israel.